Quiet Revolution, How Choosing Softness Became the Bravest Thing She Ever Did, I want to tell you about someone who changed my understanding of what courage actually looks like. Her name is Naomi Turner, and if you met her, you might not immediately recognize the revolution she's living. She's not loud, she's not flashy, she doesn't wear her trauma like a badge or her healing like a trophy. But Naomi has done something most of us are too terrified to even imagine. At 40 years old, after decades of surviving what would break most people, after enduring layer upon layer of hardship that others might face once in a lifetime if they're unlucky, she packed up her entire life and moved across the country. Not because it was easy, not because she had it all figured out, but because she finally decided that her peace mattered more than her past. Naomi's impact on the world isn't measured in accolades or applause. It's measured in the quiet, sacred act of choosing herself, and in doing so, giving permission to countless others to do the same. She's proof that healing isn't selfish, it's revolutionary. Let's talk about something we pretend not to notice. Resilience has become a trap, especially for Black women, especially for those of us who've been handed this script that says strength is the only acceptable way to exist. We've been told to be strong so many times that we've forgotten we were also supposed to be human. And here's the uncomfortable truth: the cape we've been wearing, it's not a gift, it's a weight. And after enough years, it stops feeling like protection and starts feeling like a prison. I see this all the time in the women who reach out to me through soft girl era. They've survived abuse, they've buried loved ones, they've been betrayed by people they trusted, they've worked themselves to the edge of collapse while raising children, leading organizations, holding families together, and carrying entire communities on their backs. And they've done it without complaining. They've done it with grace. They've done it because that's what they thought strength required. But now they're exhausted. Not the kind of tired that a vacation fixes, the kind of tired that lives in your soul and whispers in the middle of the night, you cannot keep doing this. But here's what Naomi taught me and what I need you to hear today: resilience through trauma doesn't mean you have to be unbreakable. It doesn't mean you never crack. It means you choose positivity and productivity, even after enduring multiple layers of hardship that most people will never experience once, let alone repeatedly. Naomi stayed productive while building her self esteem and caring for others amid profound challenges. She didn't do it because she was superhuman. She did it because she refused to let trauma write the entire story of her life. And that's not strength in the way we've been taught to understand it. That's strategy, that's survival with intention, that's softness disguised as power. Let me tell you about a woman named Kanathea Powell. Kanathea is a Black woman leader who saw what so many of us see, but few of us name. She saw high achieving Black women grinding themselves into dust. She saw constant overwork. She saw burnout fueled by racial violence, pandemic pressures, and a complete absence of holistic support. She saw a system that demanded endless resilience without ever offering rest. And instead of accepting that as the cost of success, she built something different. She calls it soft infrastructure: therapists, peer circles, co founders, teams designed for delegation, rest, and regulation. She emphasized trauma informed care and positioned joy not as a luxury, but as a power move, a strategic business decision for sustainable leadership. And the outcome? Kanathea shifted the narrative from grinding to thriving. She gave women tools for mental health without guilt. She created spaces where Black women entrepreneurs could access funding, storytelling, and non judgmental support. She revolutionized what support looks like by centering community over isolation, fueling growth without requiring individual overwork. Canathea's work mirrors what Naomi embodies: enduring the worst while staying productive and positive, building self esteem through softness, escaping survival mode not by running away, but by running towards something better. Now, let's talk about that move. Because executing a lifelong dream at 40, like moving across the country despite being terrified, proves something we don't say out loud enough. It's never too late to prioritize your healing. It's never too late to escape toxic environments. Naomi waited, she planned, she survived. And then at 40, she did the thing that scared her most. She left. She honored the why behind necessary change, even when it was terrifying. And I want you to sit with that for a moment. How many of us have lifelong plans we've delayed because of trauma, because of survival mode, because we've been too busy keeping everyone else alive to consider what it might feel like to actually live? There's a woman named Kendall Averhart who understands this intimately. Kendall is a Black professional who champions shifting Black success away from the coastal grind and into mid sized cities like Richmond and Charlotte, places that offer aligned growth instead of just relentless hustle. She saw how high costs and lack of support in traditional hubs were forcing people into survival mode hustle. She saw how geography was locking Black entrepreneurs in high pressure zones, echoing lifelong plans delayed by trauma, like waiting until you're 40 to finally make the move you've been dreaming about since you were young. So Kendall prioritized cities that matched her values. She leveraged grants, intentional communities, and chose softness, rest, and freedom over coastal toxicity. And the outcome? She built a sustainable career with real opportunities, lower barriers, and value aligned environments for thriving beyond survival. Kendall's story parallels Naomi's terrifying cross country move at 40. It's about executing a lifelong escape plan from trauma while staying productive and positive. It's about refusing to let fear have the final word. But here's where it gets real, and I mean uncomfortably, beautifully, necessarily real. Honesty about trauma, like finally getting away from it, fuels authentic growth. It allows Black professionals to embrace softness as a strategic rebellion against survival mode. It's a call to reject the cape of constant strength for sustainable wholeness. And this is where the work of Voncio Kennard becomes essential. Voncio is a Black professional healer who tackles childhood trauma's toll on high achieving Black entrepreneurs through what she calls the soft girl rebellion. She saw how hidden wounds manifest as perfectionism, overworking, and emotional shutdown. She saw how the cape of being the strong one becomes unbearable amid systemic pressures. So she named unhealed patterns through real life stories. She promoted healing as personal and collective acts that prioritize wholeness, rest, and emotional honesty over survival. And the outcome? She freed Black leaders from endless resilience to holistic thriving. She helped them reclaim joy and softness as rebellion against trauma's weight. Voncio's work captures what Naomi embodies: multi trauma positivity, self esteem building while caring for others, escape through major life change. It's about finally admitting that you're tired and that being tired doesn't make you weak. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds nice, but I can't just quit my job and move across the country. And you're right. Not everyone can. Not everyone should. But that's not the point. The point is this: what's your version of Naomi's move? What's the one thing you've been delaying because survival mode told you it wasn't practical? Maybe it's not a cross country move. Maybe it's a boundary with your family. Maybe it's a rest ritual you've been putting off. Maybe it's finally saying no to the role you've been playing at work, in your community, in your own home. Maybe it's admitting out loud that you're exhausted and that exhaustion doesn't equal failure. Because here's the truth we don't talk about enough: softness is not weakness, softness is not giving up. Softness is the most strategic decision you can make when the world has spent your entire life trying to harden you. Softness is how you survive without losing yourself in the process. Softness is how you build a life that doesn't require you to be in crisis mode just to feel productive. Softness is the revolution we've been waiting for, and it starts with you. And I want to be clear about something. This isn't about aesthetics. This isn't about bubble baths and face masks. Though, if those things bring you joy, please do them. This is about a spiritual, emotional, and mental recalibration. This is about shifting from constantly grinding to finally grounding in joy, peace, softness, and self prioritization. This is about dropping the superwoman cape and realizing that the real power was never in the cape. It was in you. It was always in you. You just forgot because you were too busy saving everyone else. Naomi's story and the stories of women like Canathea, Von Ciel, and Kendall remind us that healing isn't linear. It's messy. It's terrifying. It requires you to confront the parts of yourself you've been too busy to acknowledge. But it's also the most sacred work you'll ever do because when you heal, you don't just change your life, you change the lives of everyone around you. You give permission, you model possibility, you show other women that they don't have to wait until they're broken to choose themselves. So here's what I want you to do, and I mean, really do. Not just think about doing. I want you to identify one lifelong plan you've delayed because of trauma or survival mode. One thing, it doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be dramatic, but it has to be yours. Maybe it's setting a boundary you've been avoiding. Maybe it's scheduling rest without apology. Maybe it's saying no to one more responsibility that isn't yours to carry. And then I want you to execute one small step this week, no matter the fear. Build accountability by sharing it in a trusted circle. Honor your softness as the strength to finally get away and thrive. Because here's what Naomi taught me, and what I hope you carry with you long after this moment. You are not required to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You are not required to be strong all the time. You are not required to survive at the expense of your joy. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to heal. You are allowed to choose yourself without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. And when you do, when you finally put down that cape and step fully into your soft girl era, you'll realize something beautiful. You were never weak, you were just tired. And now you get to be free. Now you get to be soft. Now you get to be whole. And that is the quiet revolution the world has been waiting for.